Most commonly advertised as Wharton Fieldhouse and Grounds, implying that Browning Field was not used. Indeed, a decision may have been made to avoid Browning for fear of damaging the football field about a month before the autumn grid season was to begin. These photographs of the outside activities and tents suggest that the fair used the grounds east of the field house, today occupied by the large parking lot. That land east of Wharton, shown here in an early photograph, had been donated to the schools by Catherine Butterworth in 1941. Okay, I'm going to conclude with a couple of celebrations, but we have to have a second quiz. Here's a quote. Every man, woman, and child is urged to participate in the celebration in honor of the greatest day in the history of the world. When was the greatest day in the history of the world? Not you, Ben. Not VJ Day. Not VE Day. It wasn't the end of the world. that would be a candidate. Not when the atom bomb was dropped. You're thinking you're in the wrong era.
Say it.
Yeah.
1870.
Not the Armistice Day. Bingo. Right. On Monday, November 11th, 1918, the Argus urged people to take part in a grand parade to be held that evening in Moline as a climax to the World War I victory celebration. And then they made this statement: every man, woman, and child is urged to participate in the celebration in honor of the greatest day in the history of the world. Attended by 15,000, the parade started at 6 p.m. in downtown Moline, wended its way through the business district and residential areas, and ended at Browning Field. A huge bonfire was built at Browning, in which an effigy of the Kaiser was cremated. At the celebration, 15,000 voices joined in singing the song America. Later in the evening, a community dance was held at the Manufacturers Hotel in downtown Moline, attended by 2,000 people. Next celebration, oh, I'm sorry, that's not Browning Field. That's Trafalgar Square in London on that same day, November 11th, 1918. Now we're going to another celebration. Another major celebration was the dedication of the Moline Fieldhouse on December 21st, 1928, later to be named Wharton Fieldhouse. But you will have to wait until next year for the book to learn more about that one. Perhaps the largest event ever held at Browning Field was the Centennial Celebration in June 1948. This 9-day event commemorated the 100th anniversary of Moline's incorporation as a town in 1848. It was an incredibly busy week filled with a variety of activities. Although events were held all over the city, Browning Field played a central role. Among the activities around town were the opening ceremony and several band concerts at Stevens Square, an all-star softball game at Stevens Park, a tennis tournament, children's fair, and horsemanship demonstration at Riverside Park, an air show at the airport, outboard hydroplane races on the Mississippi River, and historical window displays, a street dance, and a parade in downtown Moline. Wharton Fieldhouse hosted Prince Bertil of Sweden, grandson of King Gustav V, Tommy Dorsey and his orchestra, a nationwide radio broadcast to the Chicago Theater of the Air. And on Tuesday, June 22nd, Hollywood stars showed up for the world premiere of the movie Mickey, which was shown at the LeClaire Theater. Browning Field was the site of week-long industrial exhibits, a P-51 aircraft training exhibit, sports events, and several outdoor performances of a special production called Moline Milestones. Written especially for this event, it was performed on a large wooden stage erected in the middle of the football field. I apologize for the quality of this photo and some of the others too. We're looking for better photos. This is Browning Field for the Centennial, and in the foreground, you probably can't see it very well, they're building the stage. In 1947 and 1948, minor league professional baseball had returned to Moline. By June 48, the Moline A's, a Philadelphia farm team, were drawing poorly and losing money. Yet another problem soon reared its ugly head. The right field fence had been moved in to a distance of 216 feet from home plate to accommodate tents to be used in the upcoming Moline Centennial celebration. This may have been the final straw, and by mid-June, the baseball organization had decided to move the team to Kewaunee. The last Moline A's game was to have been played on Friday, June 18, 1948, but because the outfield was full of ruts created by trucks and tractors preparing for the Centennial, the game was canceled. Thus ended over 3 decades of regular professional baseball at Browning Field. By the way, the Kewaunee A's played out the 1948 season, then they folded. Moline native Warren Giles, that doesn't matter, you can keep it there. Moline native Warren Giles, then president of Cincinnati Reds Major League Baseball team, came to town to present awards and trophies to winners of the Centennial Sports Competition at Browning. His visit came just days after the last game was played at Browning by the A's, Moline's last minor league baseball team. It seems ironic that he would appear in Moline at the end of minor league baseball here because he had played such an important role in promoting the Plowboys when they first played at Browning in the early 1920s. Another Moline Centennial celebration was held at Browning in 1972, this time recognizing the 100th anniversary of Moline being incorporated as a city. Then in 1976, a big 4th of July spectacular celebrated the nation's bicentennial. A variety of activities continue at Browning Field to the present. It is home to Moline High School football, track, and soccer, and it occasionally hosts special events, and its running track is open to the public. On October 5th of this year, we will celebrate the 100th anniversary of Browning Field, with historical displays set up beginning about 4 p.m. and a short program between the sophomore game and the varsity game, which will probably be at about 7:15 or 7:30 p.m. You are invited to join us for this historic event. Thank you. I'm happy to respond to any questions, or if they're difficult, I'll pass them on to Jack. Yes.
Yeah, I was wondering if the Plowboys ever played the minor league team over in Davenport at John O'Donnell Stadium.
The Plowboys probably played at what was then Municipal Stadium in Davenport, yes. I could check that out, but I'm pretty sure they did. They were in the 3I League for 2 periods of time, and from the mid-20s to the early 30s, they were in the Mississippi Valley League, and I think Davenport was in the same league then. Yes?
Who was Wharton Fieldhouse named after?
Theodore Findlay Wharton, who was a member of the school board and an employee of John Deere, who led the campaign in the late 20s to raise money for the field house. And it was the Moline Field House when it opened in 1928, and it was renamed Wharton Field House in 1940 or 41 after Theodore Findlay Wharton. Yes?
When Rock Island and Moline had their independent football teams, did Jim Thorpe ever play here?
Jim Thorpe played for the Rock Island Independents for more than 1 year, I think, yes. It was a big deal. They were a big team.
You mentioned about 3I Stadium. Where was that located?
That's where the Moline Municipal Services Building is now.
Okay.
On 4th Avenue, on the north side of 4th Avenue at about, 36th Street.
Okay.
And it was called Athletic Park. It was also called 3I League Park. And I saw references that it called Redmen's Park too, after the Indians or the Redmen.
You build a foundry on top of it. What time did they?
I don't know. I don't know the history. I've looked for it in old maps and couldn't find it. I haven't really pursued that.
They're saying there are foundry.
I don't know if there was a foundry there or not. It might have been.
There was a foundry there.
Okay, then they built it. The park seems to have disappeared about 1920.
The nut
family.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, I'd like to find out more about that. Yes.
When I was, I think a sophomore or junior, there was at the Moline Centennial time, there was a group of us girls who sang and danced on that stage. That was fun.
Fantastic.
Part of the program.
Could you repeat it?
Oh, no.
Okay, thank you all. Thanks very much.